And welcome to another edition of the GEICO 15 Minutes or Less Coaches Show, brought to you by GEICO, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call GEICO at 1-800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO, or visit geico.com. Once again, welcome inside TV Arena here in downtown Charleston, alongside the head coach Doug Wojcik. I'm Jeff McCarriger. Thanks for tuning in this week here on CofCsports.com. And Coach, another good week for you guys, back-to-back wins, and now you guys have won 4 straight and 11 of your last 14, so it's been a nice roll here.
Yeah, we have. We've really shared the basketball well. We had 16 assists the other night, just 11 turnovers. My goal is if we can have 12 or less turnovers a game, that's still being aggressive without taking, not turning it over too much. And we shared it well, and we shot the 3 well, which is something that we hadn't been doing over the last 2 weeks. So it was nice to see that.
Let's start with the win against UNC Greensboro. Again, 81-59 is the final. The guys now 16-7 overall, 8-3 in conference play. 5 guys in double figures. I guess we'll just start with Trent Wiedemann, another double-double. Great night for him.
He really did. He got some great drop-off passes now from some guys. Had some easy shots because I thought of Andrew's penetration and finished well, and then obviously he rebounded the ball well. So he actually played, if I recall correctly, he may have played more minutes than Ajay did. So that was a good thing that we're getting those guys in the mid-20s and hopefully saving our legs as we head towards March.
Andrew Lawrence in that game, 17 points, and I think the biggest thing that I saw in his stats was 6 assists, just 1 turnover. Really did a good job with the basketball.
Yeah, you can break down the statistics any way you want to, but if his assist to turnover is really a good one, 2 or 3 to 1, then we've played really, really well. Yeah. So he's done a great job, and then of course he's the better he can shoot the 3 for us, it spreads the floor a little bit, and then of course his chemistry with Anthony Stitt is terrific as well. I think that they've really kind of grown into a really, really good backcourt.
Well, a guy who I really want to talk to you about was Theo Johnson. 5 points, 3 rebounds, another block. I think he's second on the team now with 24 blocks. Just a true freshman. He really is putting in some quality minutes for you.
He has. He's kind of brought a certain energy to us,
yeah.
Certain swagger to us, kind of a confidence level that I think it's young and dumb and just I don't care type of deal, where I'm not even thinking about the consequences. So he's really done a lot of good things for us. And the other night was his first miss at the free throw line in conference. What people don't realize, early he missed some. I think he was nervous. But as the season's worn on, and if you look at his statistics just in conference play, his statistics are really, really good individually.
Speaking of stats, some more to throw out to you. I was just looking at it today. You guys have won 4 straight now, averaging 75 points a game over those last 4. And really the biggest thing you and I keep talking about on the radio broadcast is the assists. And you mentioned that the guys are moving the ball so well, making that one extra pass into the corners and the wings and getting some good shots.
I think so. I think it's chemistry. I think it's also Trent now. I mean, yeah. The other side of that is, everyone was saying, well, what about the offense? And that's when we were about 64 points a game. Well, Trent is 10, 12, 14, maybe 16, maybe 20 some nights. Yeah. That's just another scorer, another guy that has a great IQ for the game and great experience on the floor that we just didn't have earlier. So it's a combination of things. I was glad to see the other night Nori make a 3. We need that's the next guy that if we could have him hit 2 or 3 in a game, I think that would really help us as a team.
You and I were talking about this, I think it was during the post game a couple of games ago, and I mentioned the tempo of the game and how well the guys are running. And you said, well, let's just kind of look at this. The reason why we're doing that is because you want the guards to reward the big guys. Mm-hmm. And Coach and I were talking about on the TV broadcast, Trent and Ajay, Willis running the floor, and now you're having the guards, hey, make sure you look for those guys and reward them.
Well, they're working hard. They rebound the ball for those guys, and
yeah.
If they're running the floor and beating people down the floor, first of all, if it goes in there, the defense has to react to it. If that's a kid a perimeter defender turning his head and losing sight of Andrew Lawrence, and all of a sudden we get a pass back out and Andrew gets a wide open 3, or maybe an Anthony Thomas cutting to the basket and we get an easy basket, it just makes the defense react, and then when the pass comes back out from them, they're all step-in jump shots. Right. So you're balanced. Trent's a very good passer. Jai has become a very good passer. And those are good shots. Inside out are really, really good shots for us.
Let's switch over and talk about the defensive side against UNC Greensboro. Obviously, coming into this game, we all talked about Travis Simpson. Coach, he was averaging just under 20 points per game, which was 14th in the country coming in. And you guys hold him 4 for 12, and I heard you talking about this in the locker room afterwards. You were more excited about the attempts really than the makes.
Well, he was coming in over his last 3 games, averaging 24 shots a game.
Yeah.
So I know he has to score for him. I think he looks at himself that way. A lot of kids could score shooting 24 shots a game.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to say that he's not a talented kid. It's just 24 shots is 24 shots. You know, if you're trying to be an NBA player or professional basketball player, it's all about your efficiency. You know, Andrew Lawrence is a very efficient basketball player offensively. Well, in his case, we didn't even let him get the volume of shots off that he's been taking, just because I thought Anthony Stitt and Norrie Johnson, those 2 guys in particular, just did a great job adhering to the defensive game plan, being there, and then got a lot of help from our 4 and 5 men between Ajay, Trent, Willis, and Matt Sundberg.
You guys did a great job on Travis Simpson. I was looking back now, and now on 4 straight games, Matt Van Soyk against the Citadel 4 games ago, just 2 for 8. He finishes with 4 points. He came in absolutely red hot for that game. Carl Cochran against Wofford. We all know about him and his ability to shoot the 3. He goes 2 for 16, 0 for 5 from three-point range. Nathan Healy last week, you held him to 2 of 13. And then, of course, Travis Simpson is 4 of 12. So the guys have done a terrific job on keying on that high score on the opponents.
Yeah, and what's really great about it is it's at multiple positions. Now, a couple of those guys are you know, Anthony Stitt's responsibility with Norrie Johnson's responsibility, but the other ones, Van Soyk was Anthony Thomas, Theo Johnson, and Matt Sundberg.
Yeah.
And then Healy was Willis, Trent, Ajay, and Matt Sundberg. So a multiple group of guys have had to step up and defend. And we'll have the same challenge on Thursday with Samford. They don't play a lot of guys, but 4 or 5 of them can score. So everyone's going to have to step up their game.
Big week coming up this week as guys hit the road on Thursday for a rematch against Samford, and then on Saturday another rematch game against Chattanooga. We'll take a break. When we come back, have you heard of a guy named Dave Wojcik? Not Doug, but Dave. I'll tell you about his brother when we come back on the GEICO 15 Minutes or Less podcast right after this.
Look, I'm all for modern conveniences. But ask yourself, do you really need a blender with 23 buttons just to chop an onion? At GEICO, we think life should be simpler. So we make buttons just to chop an onion. At GEICO, we think life should be simpler. So we make it super simple to save on car insurance. Just 1 click and you could be on your way to saving hundreds. Come on, people. Life doesn't have to be that complicated.
GEICO. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
And welcome back inside TD Arena for another edition of our GEICO 15 Minutes or Less podcast with the head coach, Doug Wojcik. You and I in the break talking about the Super Bowl last night, a battle of brothers. And all right, you've got a brother. Your brother Dave coaches at Boise State. At the end of the Super Bowl, would you hug your brother? I mean, there was no hug between the 2 last night. One of them apparently said, "I love you." The other guy didn't say it back. That's a big moment for those guys.
I would. I mean, I've lost enough games as a head coach that I realize that it's at the end of the day, it's a game, and family and friends mean more than anything else in the world. There's no question for if Dave and I were in a national championship game, I mean, what an accomplishment and what a great moment for our family. So I would, yeah.
Let's talk about Dave for a little bit. I haven't had a chance to bring this up with you. We've been so busy so far this season, but your brother, obviously, you guys coached 4 years together at Tulsa. Now he's at Boise State. What was it like growing up together? I'm sure. Big
well, I left home when he was in 8th grade. So I left home in 1982, and he was still in 8th grade. And so great childhood together, did a lot. But 4.5 years is still 4.5 years at that age. And the neat thing about that is I went off to Annapolis, Maryland, and then I graduated, and then he went to Loyola of Maryland, so up in Baltimore. So when I was still stationed at the Naval Academy, I was able to see him play early in his career, but we really hadn't been together for almost 30 years until I hired him at 25 years when I hired him at Tulsa when I got the job in 2005.
So there wasn't a whole lot of driveway battles in basketball when you guys were growing up?
There was. I mean, the playground, and we were kind of raised by the neighborhood. That's the kind of neighborhood we grew up in, and we had the playground. We didn't have a driveway basket growing up, but there was a common playground, and a lot of games, a lot of different things. Played golf, you know, hit tennis ball. Just did a lot. We were 3-sport athletes, and grew up on the Ohio River, you know, fishing in the river and different things. And he kind of hung with my crowd a little bit, the older crowd. But really, when you leave, when someone's in 8th grade and then you go off and do your own thing, and had never really lived in the same city as adults, so the 4 years we spent in Tulsa with our wives and our children were really special 4 years.
I was going to say, that had to be on a good time for you guys, and you guys were pretty successful too, a lot of wins over those 4 years.
Well, great, yeah, he's a really good coach, and then he's bounced around quite a bit, but then at one time he went back to our high school and won 2 state titles. Coached there for 2 years and won 2 state titles. So he's been at Dayton, he's been at Xavier, he's been at Wake Forest, Boise, Navy, Tulsa. He's had quite a few stops, and really kind of a neat career so far. So hopefully things keep going well for him.
So Dave now is the associate head coach at Boise State. They're having a pretty good season. I think I saw like a 15, 16 wins somewhere around there. But offensively, defensively, I mean, during the season, you guys bounce things off each other?
Not as much now. I mean, they're two time zones away. They are in Mountain Time. They've had great wins. They've won at Creighton. They've won at Wyoming, and they beat UNLV at home the other night. So they've had some great wins. They've got, I think, 15 wins now in a tough Mountain West conference, really tough conference. But likes it there, and works for Leon Rice, who worked for Mark Few at Gonzaga, and it goes back to our relationship with those guys. And so, you know, they have a nice little situation.
Coach, in the time we have left, let's look ahead to this week. Again, tough road games coming up. At Samford on Thursday, then at Chattanooga on Saturday. Thursday's going to be a special game for the guys, I know, as they try to get some revenge from their loss on this floor here against the Bulldogs.
Well, yeah, I mean, Samford came in here, and you know, we blew a lead, and give them credit. They were a team that you know, won 4 in a row there, and they're now 5-4 in the league. They're coming off of 3 losses at Greensboro and then at Davidson and at Elon. So they're a young team. They don't play many guys, but they're pretty effective. A couple guys hurt us last time, but you know, hopefully we'll guard ball screens and do a better job this time against Samford.
That was the game, if I remember right. I think you guys were up by about 9 with just under 5 minutes left to play. And if I remember, the key moment was Baru getting that rebound, trying to do the outlet pass. That's where it was intercepted. I think they came back at the 3, and that's kind of what changed that one. But
it changed the momentum. We were up 9 and have the ball, and they hit a 3 in transition after the steal, and then we had 2 wide open 3s that we missed, and it just, the game, you know, got away from us. And it's one that I'd certainly love to have back, and hopefully we get it back, because we're trying to chase Davidson and still secure a bye in the first round of the conference tournament.
So again, a chance to get revenge on Samford on Thursday, and those will wrap things up here on Saturday. We'll head to Chattanooga, and against Chattanooga, you know, while that Samford loss was obviously very disappointing, I would say that Chattanooga win you guys here at home was kind of a signature win, conference win for you guys. You really played well and really got the offense going.
Scored well and played well, and really, more than anything else, bounced back after a one-day layoff from the Samford loss. That's probably what I'm most proud of, is that the kids really bounced back.
So Samford, Chattanooga, you guys again continue on the road, where the road has been friendly for you guys. The guys have been real focused. I think only, what, 2 losses on the road now all year?
7-2, which you know, that's a really, really good job by any team to play 9 true road games and have a 7-2 record.
Well, the guys will do it again, hopefully this week. Again, on the road against Samford on Thursday, and then on the road on Saturday against Chattanooga, then back home next week. Of course, we're all staring down that February 14th matchup against Davidson at home as well. But a lot of work left to do between now and then. Coach, thanks for your time as always. We'll talk to you again later on next week.
Thanks, Jeff.
That's Doug Wojcik. I'm Jeff McCarriger. Thanks for tuning in. You can catch both those games this week on ESPN Radio 910. And, of course, we're back at home next week here at TV Arena. Thanks for tuning in this week. We'll talk to you again next week right here on CofCSports.com.